Random ASMR Reality. Tonight, we've got the whiteboard back. And before we get started, I want you to watch this.
If you concentrate solely on your career, you can get a long way in your career. And I would say that that's a strategy that a minority of men preferentially do. That's all they do. They work like 70, 80 hours a week. They go flat out on their career. They're staking everything on the small probability of exceptional status in a narrow domain. But it's hard on them. They don't have a life. It's very difficult for them to have a family. They don't know how to take any leisure activity. Like, they get very one-dimensional. Now, it may be that unidimensionality is the price you have to pay to be exceptional at one thing.
So as you can see, Jordan Peterson is talking about people that gave a lot in order to get a lot. And he's describing me because I'm one of those guys. For those of you that don't know, I'm 51 years old. I've never been married. I have no kids. But I'm financially independent because I followed that path. I gave everything in order to not be poor. Not because I thought money would make me happy. No, I knew money alone would not make me happy. But I knew I would not be happy without money. I came from a poor family, and I did not want to be poor. So, that's what I did. So, we're going to get started, and I'm going to show you how I did it. Now, some of you may remember a video I did not too long ago kind of describing similar things, but I've got a lot of new subscribers, and for those of you that haven't seen it, I'm going to make kind of a follow-up video on that. This is going to be similar but not the same, so if you saw my last video, hopefully you'll get a couple extra little tidbits in here. Now, I'm not saying this is the way for everyone, because it is not. If everybody did what I did, none of us would be here, because none of our parents would have had kids. If our parents did what I did, we wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. So somebody's got to have kids, you know, and I believe that there was a way to do it the way I did it. The problem was I could never find a woman that would accept me the way I was. I either had to get rid of my dreams in order to make the woman happy, and if I did that, if I gave up on my dreams to make her happy, I know I would have been resentful for her, resentful towards her, and it would have never worked. So you've got to find somebody to accept you for you, and I did have one that I really thought was going to work, that I thought she would do it. Like, I explained everything to her up front. I'm like, look, I'm not going to work like this forever. I need to do this like another 6 or 7 years, and I'll be done. And like, she stuck around for like a year or two, but then, you know, it gave me the old speech that I'm too busy, and, you know, it fell apart, but I still have hope that I'm going to find someone, so don't give up hope. You know, I'm young enough, I kept myself in good enough shape that I still have time. So, but let's see how I did it. So, if you listen to the video on Jordan Peterson, he talks about men. He's talking about men specifically, but this is, women do the same thing. There are ultra successful women out there doing this exact same thing. So this isn't just a guy thing. But he's talking about working 70 to 80 hours a week. That's a lot. I know it's a lot, but I worked at a car dealership for 26 years, 6 years as a car salesman, and then 20 years in management. But at the last dealership I worked at, it was a Toyota store, and we were open 6 days a week. Monday through Thursday, 8 to 9. Friday and Saturday, 8 to 6. Now, Saturday was always our busiest day. This is the day that we sold the most cars. More people came in on a Saturday than any other day. So everybody had to work Saturday. So in order to compensate for that, everybody got a day off through the week. You got one of those days off through the week. And then, of course, you got, depending on how long you had been there, 2 to 3 weeks vacation. Your first year, you only got one. But if you've been there 2 years, you got 2 years. If you've been there 3 years, if you've been there 2 years, you got 2 weeks. If you were there 3 years or more, you got 3 weeks of vacation. So the first thing that I did was, and I did this prior to getting into management, is I said to myself, like when I was in sales, I was competing against the other salespeople for business. So the first thing I did, I said no to the day off. I did not take the day off. Now, Sunday in Indiana, it's against the law to sell cars. It's the craziest thing, but it's a state law. You cannot open on Sunday in Indiana, which was a blessing because I got one day off a week, so I only worked 6 days a week. However, when in my early days, I would actually go to the dealership on Sundays and pass out business cards because a lot of people would just walk through the lot knowing that nobody would be there and look at cars. And so I would just pretend I was there doing something, and I would walk up to them and said, hey, we're closed. I'm not working, but I wanted to just give you my card. If you have any questions, my cell phone's on there. Feel free to give me a call. And inevitably, I would pick up extra business that way. Also, because I wasn't taking my day off, and most 99% of the other people were. Who do you think sold the most cars? Me. I also gave up vacations. Maybe when I was like 28, 29, I stopped taking vacations. So I got to see enough of the world that travel became something that I just really wasn't that into. It was always like cumbersome. You had to get your luggage ready. You had to drive to the airport. You had to get on the flight. You had to get your luggage. You had to get checked off the flight. You had to go pick up your luggage. You had to go get a rental car. You had to go to the hotel. You're sleeping in somebody else's bed that some other dude slept in the night before. I mean, it just, and maybe it's in my mind, but I made myself not want them. And today, I have so many animals that it's very hard to travel, and I just don't want to travel right now. Maybe someday when I don't have animals, I will do it. But this is ultimately the secret that I did. I just outworked everybody in my free time, in the free time that I did have when I got off work. I would work out and I would read, and I read like self-help books or motivational books, sales books, things that would help me in my career. Now, if you want to kind of track my trajectory of actual careers before I got in the car business, that is the trajectory of my career. I started mowing yards at a young age, probably 14, 15, 16, 17 through 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. There it is. 20 years to 48, 28 to 48 to 26, 24 to 26, 23. This is when I ended it. It was 14. I was 16. That's kind of the age. And then now I'm 51. But this is when I quit real estate at actually 48. I was 48. So I really retired at 48. But that's basically how I did it. So when I was cleaning carpet, that was my average salary, about $35,000. When I was doing electronic sales, I was 50-ish. Car sales, 75-ish. Now, I say car sales, I also got into finance manager and sales manager, which they paid close to the same, 85. But then when I got to be a general manager at Toyota, that's when I started making 120-ish and up. When I retired, I was making, so this was Toyota at like 28. Then when I was 48, when I retired, I was making about $250 a year. So you do the math of adding up all this money. It's multiple millions of dollars that I made throughout my career. And then real estate. My first year I made $175. Second year I made $545. Third year like $510. My fourth year this year I'll make right at $500, maybe like $490-ish. So I've done it for 4 years, and that's how much money I've made. So almost close to $2 million just in real estate. But without this, I would not have had the database of people to sell the houses to. Half of these people that I sold a house to, I got from this business right here. And some of it from this business, and even some of it from this business. These people bought cars off of me and then bought houses off of me. So that's really how I did it. Now, again, I worked my life away. I worked my youth away. But it paid off, you know. I got what I wanted out of life. I wanted a good life. I wanted to be retired. I wanted to be able to do what I wanted. What I really said I wanted, like when I was working all those jobs, in my mind, what was keeping me going is like, I want to be retired. I want to be retired. I want to be retired. And when I was 48, I retired from the dealership. I wasn't going to work anymore. But it's one of those things, like, careful what you wish for, because when I retired, like, the first week was amazing. The second week was amazing. First month, the second month, it was awesome. But about that third month, I started getting bored. And I started just feeling kind of worthless. I mean, I was cleaning my house spotless. I was walking my dogs to death. You know, I was doing things that were basically free because I didn't want to spend a lot of money because I was retired. I wasn't making money. I was having to live off my savings. And so I was I just was unhappy because I went from working 80 hours a week to working none. And it was like a shock to my system. So I said, let me do something that will just like give me a sense of purpose. So when I got into real estate, it was just to do it like a hobby. I just wanted to do it part-time. But it's a totally separate video when I make the trajectory of my real estate career, because it obviously exploded on me, and I made way more money selling real estate than I ever thought I would. So, but the key is, when the title of this video is, how bad do you want it? Because what are you going to give up? How bad do you want a family? You see, because I knew, like, I wanted a woman that I could spend my life with, that I could take care of, that I could treat wonderful, that I could just, make love to and do all the things that we want to do with a mate. But again, it was like, I was working so much, it was hard. I get it. It was hard for a woman to accept me for me. But as far as a family goes, kids were like, I could not. It's one thing to think I could have found a woman that would accept me for working all the time. But to think that I could raise a kid and never be present, I wasn't going to do it. So I didn't. But if some people have family as the number one priority, that's what they want. And if that's the case, it will be very difficult for you to do what I did. Now, you may not be starting off in poverty like I was, and so this isn't the only way to make it. If you've got a specialty, like say you're an engineer, and you've got like a family that's very supportive, and you're starting off with someone, like if you got married and your parents gave you $250,000 to buy a house. I have friends that this happened to them. Well, of course, their road was paved, and it's much easier for them to be able to get the things that they need to have a stable life. But I wanted to have a house paid for, and I wanted to make sure I had no debt. My car's paid for, my house paid for, no debt at all. And those people can do it if they have specialty degrees like engineer, lawyer, doctor, some of these, even nurses, like if you're a specialty nurse, like a nurse anesthetist or a physician's assistant, they make unbelievably good money. So you really have to think about what you're giving up. Even just a wife or a husband. I mean, you may be giving this up. How bad do you want it? If you can't find a woman or a man that can accept you for who you are, you can't compromise yourself. You cannot. You have to follow your dreams. You have to do what you feel is right for yourself. Otherwise, you will have resentment towards these people. If you can't accomplish your dreams, you will blame them, and I think it will be a recipe for disaster. I have so many friends and relatives, family members, that have ruined themselves financially by getting divorced. You do not want to get divorced. And I feel like that's one thing that we've done today, at least in America. I don't know about other cultures, but in America, nobody takes marriage seriously anymore. They get divorced for the stupidest reasons. Even when they have kids, it's just, my parents did it. My sister did it. My brother did it. People just my sister's on like her third or fourth husband. And just, it doesn't mean anything. How can you take a vow and say for rich or for poor, sickness or in health, till death do us part, and then say, beat it. I can't stand it. So I knew that whenever I made the commitment, I would never break it, that I would die before I left my wife. And again, I just never found it. However, Robert De Niro, the actor, just had a kid at 80 years old. So there's time for me. I know I can still do it. I can still find a wife. If I married a woman today and lived to be 100, I could still have a 50-year marriage. Most people that get married at 20 don't have a 50-year marriage. So I can still do it. So my future plans, now that I have the financial means, before I get on to my goals, I do want to share this with you, because by doing what I did, this is what I accomplished. That's how much money I have in money and real estate. This is what I have in money saved up. This is real estate. So this is like my retirement fund, my IRA. I have some mutual funds that are different from my IRA. Crypto, I have crypto. All of that combined equals this. And then the house I live in is this house right here is worth about $750, $800. And then I have 2 rental properties. So again, I'm just rounding. It's probably like 3.2 or something, 3.1, 3.2. And obviously it fluctuates with the market. It goes up and down. But when you retire, most people, when they get older, and in order to access this money, I can't access it until I'm 62. Not without paying penalties. So at 62, I can start living off this. And like the basic, most safest investments ever pay about 4%, where you're not risking any of it. So if I live off 4% of that, that's $120,000 a year. And you're not spending any of the money because it's making 4%, and you're taking the 4%. So the $3 million is always there. So that's what you do. But again, I did that working normal jobs. I was not a doctor. I was not a lawyer. I was not an engineer. I wasn't an NBA player or a Hollywood actor or any of these crazy high-paying jobs. I had normal jobs. But again, it was every year I made a little bit more. I just stepped up every year. I just stepped, making more and more and more. And basically, it's like when you're in sales, you're adding people to your database. Like every day you're selling different people cars. Well, they're going to come back to you in a year, and they're going to send you their family and their friends and their kids or their parents. And so you have referrals, and that's how you build a sales career. But that's what I did. I just worked in sales. Now, the downfall is I had to work nights and weekends. But again, to be able to do what I did, and those jobs are still out there today. So people saying, well, you can't do it today. Yes, you can. Those jobs are still in high demand. Every dealership I know is looking for good salespeople. Every real estate company is hiring realtors right now. The company I work for in real estate needs new agents. They are actively recruiting new agents all the time. So there's no excuse. It is, how bad do you want it? How much are you willing to give? And it's like, if you don't want it bad enough, then you're not going to get it. If you're not willing to make these unbelievable sacrifices, it's like, again, please, I'm not some greedy idiot. I just was so poor as a kid. I knew early on that I did not want to be poor. And so I knew I could always get a girlfriend. I knew I could always have a kid if I wanted one, But I knew, like, money is not easy to get. So I focused on what was the hardest thing to get, and I just got it over with. So there's an old saying, like, pay now or pay later. I committed to just paying now because I thought, I don't want to be an old man trying to make a living. Because people like you, when you're young, you're like energetic and fun to be around. And when you're old, it's like nobody would, like, anytime I worked at a car dealership, every now and then there would be old people working there. Nobody wanted to work with the old man. Everybody wanted the younger people. So, and I feel like I'm getting to the same place in real estate. It's like, as I get older and older, I'm like, I see the clock ticking, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be one of these old men that going out showing homes. So I'm about to the end of my real estate career, but I'm just going to do it. Like, I'm not going to hustle as much as I have been. I'm just going to, I'm going to be very selective with the clients I take. I'm basically just going to work my own database. I made another video about real estate a couple videos ago about getting started, but you could pay for leads and stuff like that, and I did that. That's how I made so much money, but I don't want to do that anymore. It's harder work, and I'm ready to start enjoying life. If you've noticed, I'm making a lot more videos now. Why? Because I like this. This is what I like. Like, you guys give me so much, like, positive feedback and positive energy that I enjoy this. I enjoy, like, providing content that you find valuable and giving back to this ASMR community that has given me so much. So that's what I like to do. So that's how I'm making more videos now, because I am slowing down my real estate business and I'm focusing more on making videos. If you go back to some of my older videos, I used to talk about my channel and like how it was small, and like I was making like $10 a month or $5 a month, and now my channel is making like $300 a month, $350. So it's still not, it's compared to like some people that are making money they can live off of, it's still hardly nothing, but it's worth my time. I spend hours making these videos. Every video takes hours to make. Obviously, it's 20 minutes. Let's see. 27 minutes now, so say 30 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes on average just to film it. I got a little bit of prep work before, say 5 minutes or so getting ready for it, maybe 10 minutes if I'm kind of doing an outline. And then it's another hour at least to take it from my phone and the audio, combine the two, and but it makes it worth my while to do it more consistently. And then also, between the little bit of money I get and the unbelievable positive feedback you guys give me, it's truly invaluable. It's worth way more than the money. And I've grown close to a lot of you. I have the Discord where some people ask me questions, and like people email me and ask for my help, and that stuff just means the world to me, to be able to give back. And I'm just grateful for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I know everybody loves the dang whiteboard. I just figured I'd write some stuff on it. I didn't really need to do the whiteboard, but you guys say you like it, so I wanted to give you what you like. So I appreciate you watching tonight. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel, and